file operations. It is not really file operation, it's file operation plus input output operation. I think where these things will help when you are taking information from the user, it can help, or when you are trying to get some information from the network devices, network streaming or network devices, or maybe you are trying to accept data or send data to some remote servers programmatically. In that case, these concepts will help. And also definitely for the file operations, file copying and moving, those kind of stuffs. And now actually Java defines it in different ways. Let me see what is here. I think I have put all the information summarized here. I think this is some example. If I open, okay. I think in the case you want to handle data in Java, you can do one of the approach. I think what they are telling, these things, how the data is interpreted, how the communication or data passing is done. I think in the one concept is the byte stream. In this case, you have to read and write the data as a byte. You know the concept of byte?
Yeah, 8 bytes.
8 bits equals to 1 byte.
Yeah.
Okay, and they are composed of 0 or 1.
Yeah, binary.
Yeah. So in byte stream, the information is treated as a byte or as a combination of 1 or zeros. Okay. Any file, text file, in the basic level, it's a ones and zeros. When it is stored in the hard drive, it is just a combination of ones and zeros. So I think what I can say in the Java file operation related stuffs, they have provided different classes, okay, different predefined classes, and using these predefined classes you can interact with the files. Okay, it gets okay. So they have provided different classes to interact different data sources. Okay, so let some classes, they will treat the data source as a byte stream. It can be useful in the network stream when in some communications they send the data as a byte or bit by bit. Okay, if you want to work with those kind of sources, then maybe using those classes will be useful. Okay, if the data is passed as bit by bit, then you can directly use byte streams. Okay, but if you work with the file, in that case byte stream is not the right way to go. In that case you can go to the character stream. In that case what will happen, you will communicate the data as a character. You don't have to deal with the byte or bit, you just treat that the information is passing as a character. I think byte is the 8 bit, but in Java character is 16 bit. Okay, when you read some data source, a file or a network or whatever you say, when you read it as a character stream, the output will be a character. Okay. When you read a byte stream, the output can be a byte. Okay. It may not be a character. Or if you're reading it as a bit, then you would be finding just 1 or 0, something like this. So character stream is the mostly used in the file operations. But another high level concept is the buffered stream. Buffered stream, it actually is built on top of character stream. Character stream, it is considering one character by character. What buffered stream is, where buffer stream comes, if you try to read a file or write a file character by character, that if you are getting some information from somewhere and you are trying to create the file for each of the character, then what will happen, the operation, it will take time, it is not efficient. Okay, if you try to write each of the character in the hard drive, I think when you try to access the physical devices in computer, those takes much operations and much time. In terms of computer, that takes more time than the processor operation time. So what they are telling, they don't treat it as a character, they will just store those characters. When it is a line, it is a block, then it will try to go right in the file. So in that case, buffered streams come. Okay. So in character streams, what you will see, there will be some classes like file reader, file writer. Those will read data as a character, those will write file as a character, but that's not efficient. Okay. In buffered reader, what we will do, we will create some buffered reader, but that will be using character stream in the back. I think there will be classes like buffered reader or buffered input stream, buffered output stream, but those will be using different character streams in the back. I think buffered stream internally works with character stream. The character stream gives data to buffered stream stores it. When it is time to write to the file, then it writes to the file. Something like this. Scanning and formatting. I think character string, it deals with one character. Scanning and formatting, these related classes, what it will happen, that they will work with formatted text. Just for example, a file, you have written a file, the data is defined as a number, all the integer numbers. Okay, this can be one thing, but one can be for each of the numbers you have put a tab character in between, just a predefined format. Or for an Excel file, if you save it as a text file, what you will see some, it will maintain some structure in the file. Okay. Or if you take a comma separated file, different values, different numbers, separated by commas or separated by semicolons. So I think predefined or pre-formatted files, if you want to interact with those kind of files, then the classes defined under this section, you will get direct function. Okay. And for input output from the command line, I think there will be some console object, and you can also use the buffered stream and the character stream to take input from the console. I think it handles data using some data type in string values. I think I may have overlapped a bit. Scanning and formatting, you just deformat it, and here when you see that this is the file contains only string in defined format, or it contains only integer data or float data, then this can help. This will help you process the stuff faster. Okay. Like if you say this file contains different numbers, so thousand different numbers. If you want to treat it as a character string, what you have to see, you have to read all the characters, then when you find a space, then you will think, okay, I have got a number, full number. Then you will be again scanning, and if you find some characters and a space, then you will think that, okay, I have got another number. You have to treat the number files to identify the numbers. Hierarchy. Okay. But data streams, they will define some predefined functions to read the file. Okay, so they will identify themselves that this is a number, this is a string. Okay, this number comes after this. Just maybe get integer, get string, get float, this kind of functions that will directly give you a number or directly give you a floating point number. But if you work with these classes, they will just give you one character at a time. So you have to identify yourself, is this a number or something else. But if you use with the classes like data stream classes, then they will have direct functions. They will identify the number and give the number one at a time to you. Okay. And object streams, in that case, I think you can dump the total object in a file. Okay. And then you can read the file as an object. When you dump it as an object, all the variables and the corresponding values will be there. And when you read the file with the objects, so you will get get, when you read the file, you will get the total object with all the variables initialized. Sometimes it can happen that two network servers or one network server, one network client, they can communicate with object stream. And they will be sending data as an object. So when they will be reading the stream, so they will be reading one object at a time. When they will read an object, all the variables and everything will get at one operation. Okay. So in some areas they are more beneficial. And they're trying to define the stream. I think in short, I covered in short that in a byte stream, I think file input stream, file output stream, these are classes defined under byte stream. So what they are trying to do, they are trying to read this file. I think file input stream is a predefined class. When you pass a file name as part of the object creation, it opens that file. Okay. Actually, what is happening? It is calling the constructor of the file input stream. We saw when we create object, instantly the constructor is called. The constructor is a method that will be opening this file. Okay. And file output stream, it is another file. It will be creating that file. By file input stream, we are telling that we want to read this file. By file output stream, we are telling we want to write to this file. Okay, it's just predefined classes, and all the methods or functions are defined in such a way that they provide this kind of features. So here what we are doing, we are using a while loop. That in is the input stream and read is the method in input stream, and it will be reading 1 byte at a time. So we are reading 1 byte at a time, and out is part of this class. Okay. And what it can do, if you supply a byte and call the write function, it will write this byte into this output file. Okay, so if you run this program, so it will take the data from this file and it will write the data to this file, and the data will be reading and writing as a byte, not as a character. Okay, because it is byte stream. The similar way, there will be some character stream classes, like file reader, file writer. These are character stream classes. They operate in the same way, but they treat the input data as a character. Okay, and character can be 16-bit. It depends on the programming languages. Okay, in different languages it can be different, but in Java it's 16-bit. So it is the same concept: reading the file, writing the file. And for reading, input stream.read function, output stream.write function, but they are using C. C will be here a character. Integer, that's fine. Integer 16-bit, 16-bit character, 16-bit. That's okay. Okay, I'm skipping this just to understand the root concepts. And for the buffered strings, it will be using character strings in the back. And one thing is flushing buffered strings. This is one of the important concepts. Okay. When we will be using buffered strings, it will be reading character by character and it will be putting in the buffer. But at time to time, it will write to the hard drive or physical device, just at a jump. But if you want that, if you are afraid that this is not a stable system, the power can go off for sometimes, but after a few operations, you can force the writing the buffer to the hard drive. It is called flushing. Okay, you have to call the buffered stream object dot flush method that does this object, that this operation. Scanning and formatting, as you told, just we'll treat it as a comma separated or something. Okay, I think the corresponding class is a scanner. Okay, in scanner it is also using buffered reader. As I told previously, buffered reader is using file reader. I think it may seem a little complicated. you can see that we are trying to read a pre-formatted file, so we have to use the scanner object. Okay, and to create a scanner object, you have to supply the scanner object a buffered object. So we are creating another buffered object. Okay, but buffered object in the back it uses a character string. So what we are supplying a character string. Okay, and we are taking it as a input. So we are providing file reader, but we are supposed to write a pre-formatted file. Maybe we are getting some data from somewhere. We try to create a pre-formatted file. In that case, we have to use writer. Okay, not buffer reader, buffered writer, new file writer. Okay, and what we are doing, then we have get the reference to the file. Then we are reading. Where is dot has next, it is reading and outputting this. And by default, I think space, this thing, if you put this space, that is defined as the formatting character.